Good evening, everyone. My name is Yogesh. Thank you so much for joining in this webinar on how to invest in robotics and artificial intelligence. This is a webinar which is related to investing in stocks, in companies, in funds which are related to artificial intelligence and robotics. So, definitely, we are going to talk about um, how what kind of a role robotics and AI is playing these days. Obviously, last 1 or 2 years, we have seen almost 2 years of the pandemic, and uh, we can say that how important technology has been. So we are going to discuss about that. If you can hear me properly, if you can see my presentation, please send me a yes or a okay using your chat option here. So it will be easy for me to uh, evaluate who's able to hear me out. We anyway send out the recordings on YouTube for these sessions, but it's more beneficial when you're attending it live because you get to ask questions which you like to. And this is something which becomes really a fruitful exercise. So if you can hear me properly, okay, perfect, perfect, great. So you can use your chat option to ask questions. You can use your chat options to interact. Sadly, we are not doing seminars anymore, but we are soon going to start, assuming things starts getting better. So once again, welcome. And before we begin, I have the presentation. I'm simultaneously switching to just yeah. Now here's the thing. Um, John Chambers, Cisco executive chairman, said at least 40% of all businesses will die in the next 10 years if they don't figure out how to change their entire company to accommodate new technologies. This is something which is a fact. We always think about technology, we talk about technology. In fact, these days we breathe technology. If you don't believe me, what are you doing right now? You are connected to me through a remote access and you can hear me, you can ask your questions, you can use your chat options. And this is what exactly technology is. From your iPhone, from your WhatsApp messages to your video calls, your FaceTimes, everything is technology. And that is the reason that why the need to talk about this particular segment is has arisen this year, especially this year because we saw last 2 years of pandemic and we saw the role technology played. So that being said, we will be discussing about a few stocks as well. We'll be talking about a few ETFs. I'm going to show you on the live platform that how you can invest into these kind of themes. And please understand this. If you these whatever information I'm giving you, this is completely for the information purposes. If you want to invest further, please talk to your risk experts and do not just blindly get into any investment. Please talk to your financial consultants, assess your risk, and only then use this information to invest. So for now, I would just like your brains to process this. And before you invest into anything, please assess your risk, talk to your experts, and only then do that. So look at this, the chart which I'm showing you right now. Uh, as this is the capitalization, basically the value of the market in $1 billion. All right, in $1 billion, this is the value of the market of all these stocks. So this was from 2008. In 2008, the highest market value companies, starting with ExxonMobil, PetroChina, General Electric, Gazprom, China Mobile, ICBC, Microsoft, AT&T, Royal Dutch Shell, PNG. This was in 2008. Okay. Now, this is a really important information. Why? Because you know that in 2008, these were the companies which were the highest of the value, right? And then 10 years down the line, we see the top 10 companies. Now, which are these top 10 companies? Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, Tencent, Berkshire Hathaway, Alibaba, Facebook, JP Morgan, Chase, Johnson Johnson. Look how easily the top five, in fact, majority of the companies with higher market value were replaced by most of the companies are on technology just in 10 years of time. This is the power of technology. So when we talk about why digital disruption is something what we should talk about. So this is digital disruption, right? That the digital companies now have taken over in terms of market value, in terms of size. The trillion-dollar companies, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, all of them are trillion-dollar companies, right? So this is why we need to understand about investing into digital disruption-based companies, into AI and robotics, right? So let's understand first what artificial intelligence is. And this is, again, if you have any questions, please do write it on the chat option. And we'll start from the very basic understanding of what AI is and why we are talking about this. So looking into the artificial intelligence, it's not a rocket science actually, because if we see the top global trends, which all these CEOs, big CEOs believe that it will transform the business over the next 5 years. So the one of them is again the technology advances, right? Shift in economic power, urbanization, all of that is there. But one of the most very important thing is the technological advancements, and it is believed that the technology and advancements is one of those factors which is going to change. It will going to transform the business completely over the next 5 years, right? Now, when we talk about AI and artificial intelligence, we have to understand what it is. Now, the theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks normally requires human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, and translation between languages, right? Now, what artificial intelligence is doing, it helps with the work of programming, and it constructs a biological, like it basically mimics the biological neuron by the programming. So imagine what I am talking to you right now, right? Like when I am talking to you right now, in my brain, my neurons, they connect together and they give it a command and I speak. Now imagine if this kind of command, this kind of biological command coming from neurons, instead of coming from neurons, it comes from a program. That is what artificial intelligence is. I'm trying to keep it as simple as it can be. So that's the idea of AI. All the decisions which a human takes in evaluating a problem, finding out a solution, taking a decision, all of that, something which is a chemical biological process, the same is mimicked through a machine by a set of programs, and that programs is artificial intelligence, right? Now, uh, what are the pros? What are the pros? We should be able to understand the pros. We should be able to understand the advantages. Uh, be able to stimulate human behavior and cognitive process, capture, preserve human expertise. So this is really important, right? There's so many things. Like if you go to banks, the teller jobs are simply not there anymore. You don't go to a teller and say, I want to withdraw money. You use an ATM for that. You put your card, you type your amount, and it's done. And it's been a process. It's been decades. I still remember back in India, ATM was a cumbersome process, right? It was not something which was very famous back then. But now, digital banking, everything is digitalized, right? Using of AI, fast response, ability to comprehend large amounts of data really quick, right? So these are the advantages. And on the other side, everything technology is basically notorious for more than advantages, talking about disadvantages, no common sense, cannot readily deal with mixed knowledge, may have high development costs. So cost factor is something which is really important. What is cost? The cost of employing new technology in your business. How fast it is going to be, it's okay, it's important, but then how costly is going to be. That's one of the most important things which works like a disadvantage a lot of times, and that's why a lot of businesses they shy away from putting new technology. Raises legal and ethical concerns. So I think anybody uh, who has understood the impacts of artificial intelligence understands also that there are a lot of legal and ethical concerns as well. Now, understanding how the market is. So this is really important slide, and please, I normally use a notepad When I'm looking at something, I used to write things down just to make sure that I, keep a track of it. This is an estimation of how the global artificial intelligence market is expected, the revenue is expected to increase from 643 million back in 2016. By 2025, it is expected to become 36 billion. Now, that's important because in this, consumer products, business services, advertising, finance, investment, media, defense for that matter, everything, it will drive a significant revenue from AI. And now, if more than anything we understand, uh, in 2020, healthcare is one of those important things, right? That might drive a lot of revenue from this particular sector. And then one of the most important things, image recognition, is forecasted to be the fastest growing segment by application due to increasing demand for effective computing technology in several end use sectors for better study of systems that can recognize, analyze, process, and stimulate human efforts. So, image recognition is also one of the most important sectors, which is going to give a lot of revenue to the AI market. And there's a reason that why, again, we are discussing about it today because uh, over a period of time, technology has continued to evolve, continue to evolve, and this is the era of the disruption, right? Like, if we understand about artificial intelligence and robotics, and think about it when we see it, because this is really important. The AI learning systems, they have the power to transform all sectors in the economy. And tell me, even those sectors previously which we thought that cannot be disrupted, and healthcare was one of the important sector that we always thought that okay, healthcare cannot be disrupted by artificial intelligence. Like, how would you trust so much on the technology to perform the task? You need real hands, right? But healthcare, financial services for that matter, we always thought that how AI is going to do it, but now it's being disrupted. The growth opportunity, and within this AI space, it can be exponential, can be really, really beautiful. So if you put things into perspective, uh, like now when humans have programmed all these softwares, now when we put into the things into perspective, we see that it is actually possible. And now there is a lot of deep learning going on, which is a kind of AI data, right? And not only this data is used for evolution, but also when we see that there is something called, earlier humans used to write the program, right? Humans have always written the program earlier, and the technology has been created. But imagine that a technology is created which will be used to create further technology. That is progress for the sake of progress, right? Imagine a program which is used to, which automatically writes a program and creates what is called deep learning, right? Okay, yeah, perfect. So those who have joined right now, you haven't missed much. We are talking about investments in global artificial intelligence and robotics market through funds, through stocks. We are going to talk about. We have just been talking about how AI market revenue is expected to go higher, and what kind of products are going to give more revenue. So defense, healthcare, media, entertainment, finance, etc. And image recognition is going to be one of the most important segment, right? So again, as I talk about AI, uh, see also, since we saw the previous slide, that how many of the companies have increased their market cap, and those are the tech stocks which have outperformed in terms of market cap to so many FMCG companies in last 10 years because of the increased use of technology. Now, this deep learning program, it is going to add around $30 trillion to the equity market capitalization, and take it in the next 15-20 years, because by 2020 it already added 2 trillion, and another 30 trillion in the next 15-20 years. This is an enormous opportunity. See what happened in the last 20 years, what internet did. When was the Okay, let's use the chat option. Answer me this question. Do you remember the dot com bubble, the dot com crash? Can anyone guess what year it was? You can use the chat option to give me the answer, just to make it more interactive. Think back in the days when dot-com bubble happened. So that was the very beginning of the internet where every company would just put .com at the end of it, create an IPO, and it will be sold just because there was a .com in it. So that's why it used to get called as .com bubble. So okay, there are a lot of people aware about this. That's great. You can search Google also. I don't mind. I mean, as long as it. Okay. So perfect, perfect. Yeah, almost nearby. Everybody is near 2000, 2001, basically. Yeah. So that's where it started, 2001, 2002, and that is where. So when internet actually became a thing, every company, and I tell you, even a company which was baking cookies, say Mama Cookies, for example, if it changes its name to Mama Cookietronics, uh, on the IPO, it would still be bought. People were this crazy about technology back then. But then market crashed. Companies like Cisco itself lost a lot of money in it. And then finally, there was a lot of talks about that whether internet is going to last or not. But then slowly and gradually the markets realize that nothing is wrong with the technology. It has everything to wrong with the sentiments of the people. Markets were over inflated, high valuation, and it had to come down, but there was nothing wrong with the technology. And exactly what happened was that over a period of time, and Goldman Sachs predicted it, that it's not the technology problem, it's the market problem, the investor sentiments problem, that they are overhyping it, but the technology of internet, it is here to stay. And 20 years down the line, already if you see, the technology, it has already added $13 trillion to the equity market globally. So we can see all the tech stocks, that how they have performed, and it has performed really really well, right? Now, so this is about artificial intelligence. Again, the definition of AI goes further and further, but that's only this much is what we are going to talk about. What AI is, understanding robotics now. So it's not really that different. But then again, when we talk about artificial intelligence and robotics, we talk about a lot of things. Like when we are talking about robotics, basically we are talking about a process which becomes automatic. AI is also about speech recognition, virtual assistant. While robotics, we talk about a process which becomes automated, right? So there is artificial intelligence, and there is robotics. So humanoid robots, virtual agents, as I said, which automate, improve, assist human activities, and they may analyze applications for processing transactions, manipulating data, triggering responses, and communicating with other digital systems. Robotics can either operate in compliance with a set of predefined instructions or autonomously. Now, look at the benefits of automating a process. It increases definitely the efficiency, right? It can basically make sure that the work is done. There is no shortage of labor, right? So it replaces that point where there are not enough people to do one job, because now there is one machine which can do. So you don't have to worry about labor shortage. Plus, simple thing. Now, tell me, should put this example right. Actually, I just want to. Okay, there are so many tasks now. Okay, this is the best example. How many of you, and please use your chat options here. Uh, okay, 1 second. Let me get a poll. This will be interesting. Uh, okay, okay. This is just a random poll. I'm taking it. Do you remember more than 5 contact numbers? Like, for example, your own phone number. Obviously, you will remember, I'm sure. But apart from that, your friends here in Dubai or someone else in Dubai. But those contact numbers, do you remember more than 5 of them? And I'm sure some of you will remember, some of you won't. But that's the whole poll about. All I'm trying to make a point is that many a times back in those days when we had fixed line and landline, We used to remember contact numbers, and not just one or two. We used to write them in our diaries, but we used to remember 5, 10, 15 contact numbers because we used to talk to our friends that way. Now, when I'm conducting this poll, currently 57% people said yes, we remember more than 5 contact numbers, while 42% said that we don't, right? Now, the point I'm trying to make is that when you get a technology at your doorstep, you will use your brain for something more large and more efficient task. Your brain gets free to do something else, and that's what robotics does. So that is for one. Uh, then we look at the risk. What is the risk? Lack of expertise and support, fallout from job losses, regulatory compliance cost. What we have been talking about, that if machines take over, then what happens to the human jobs, right? Uh, there is a lot of cost to employ the technology. So that is one. Plus, you have to find the expertise of every specific job that you need a machine to do that job right. And then what are the potential applications? Manufacturing, hotels, tourism, service industry, data management. So all these kind of applications can be used. Now, there are a lot of efforts done to ensure that AI and the labor, the employment, uh, there is a balance being created, that the risk which is there, that fallout from job losses, this risk is neglected. A lot of people are working towards it, where they are combining with communities to ensure that using a technology does not hamper the job, but at the same time creating a higher quality of work which humans can more focus on, rather than doing menial jobs which easily can be automated. So again, this is one of those ethical or moral concerns which was there, but then this is what AI and robotics have been moving towards. Now, this is some data again which I wanted you to see, and this is a lot of it's not just hypothetical. Of course, there is a lot of figures and numbers in it. The demand for robots outside manufacturing is set to rise. So the orange bar which you see, that is logistics, constructions, etc. But then you see the other bars and look at 2020 and 2021. 2021, if you see sector defense, if you see, most important, if you see medical, if you see inspection maintenance, you see cleaning, for example, look at cleaning. It is only expected that the demand for robots in the sectors of medical, in sectors of cleaning, in sectors of inspection and maintenance, it is only going to increase by 2022 and 2023, right? This is from the International Federation of Robotics, the source of the data. And this is what I wanted to show you, because when I come here and talk about, okay, you can look into these investments, this investment, what's the point? Why we are talking about it? Because what is going on right now and the stuff you have invested in right now, I don't want to shake those investments, but definitely we should be talking about the future and what are the areas you can look into henceforth. I'm sure if you would know that Bitcoin is going to go 60,000, you would definitely, do Bitcoin. But again, blockchain is something which is catching up. So if not Bitcoin, then for the future, blockchain is something which you can always emphasize on. So this is all we are here to talk about. Now look at this. The number of industrial robots could double between 2019 and 2025. The number of industrial robots, look at the forecast from 2020 to 2025. Again, it is expected that the industrial robots will continue to double. So the idea is that if this is something which is expected to go higher, why not start investing into those companies which are making one of those, right? So that's again a futuristic idea. That's not something. So I'm not talking about any guaranteed returns. I'm not talking about any returns assured. All I'm saying is that, see, these are some sectors which you can definitely look into from a futuristic point of view. So a part of your investment should be into these kind of things. I will also tell you that how you can invest into it. So just forming the base right now for you to understand that how the industry has been and what is the forecast for it to grow. Now, here is some of these technologies, like the emerging technologies which have been adopted, and what are the benefits around it. So, if you see, these are few AI and robotics based functions which are performed. So, Internet of Things, for example, what is Internet of Things? Internet of Things are those companies which stress upon reducing the internet traffic. Today, tell me, okay, again, another nice poll. I like conducting polls, it's really uh, healthy. Uh, how many of you can live without your phone for one day? If you can live without your phone for one day, put a yes. If you cannot, say no. And it's important. It will There will be some introspection here. And again, there's no right and wrong. I mean, everybody has their own needs, demands. Some of you have jobs which require cell phone. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are from IT over here. So, and then there are a lot of people who must be from medical health. So I'm sure that your phone plays a really important role. If nonetheless, I'm not asking just about communication. But that's the thing. Right now, 55% people have answered that yes, we can live without our phones for one day. However, 44% have said that we cannot. And that's all it is about. Because while you're on your phone, how many of you actually use phone to talk like on the phone? No, you're basically on your WhatsApp or searching or doing a lot of things, right? For that you need internet. So imagine the amount of traffic internet faces. So there are those companies which are working on reducing the internet traffic which comes with an internet of things, right? And then followed by robots, followed by drones. Drones have single-handedly ended two jobs. One was the videographer who would be in the helicopter and take a aerial view in a movie. Now that is taken by drones most of the time. So the pilot's job is already taken by the drone and that videographer who would shoot standing in the helicopter and doing it. So those two jobs gone. Drones do that. I'm sure so many wedding planners, wedding events, it happens. And drones soon will be also used for further making movies and shooting. And that was the hope with GoPro also. Still talks, but long way to go. 3D printing. Again, there are a lot of 3D printing companies which are working towards blockchain based companies. Blockchain is a decentralized, a distributed form of ledger, technology behind cryptocurrencies. So there are a lot of companies which are. Do you know that companies like Louis Vuitton, Volvo, Walmart, all these kind of companies, they have already put blockchain into their system to ensure the safety of their products. Like Louis Vuitton use it to ensure that the products, the raw material which comes from the supplier, are authentic and to avoid any counterfeit of the actual product. So Louis Vuitton uses blockchain methods. Walmart is using blockchain to ensure the safety of their food products. So blockchain is already used even in a lot of financial institutions. The blockchain is used. So this is something which is again becoming a future. Then there is virtual reality, augmented reality. When we talk about augmented reality, again, uh, think about, so augmentation of the real world, it is achieved through a lot of supplemental devices, right? Talk about virtual reality or VR goggles, for example. I'm sure everybody must have see there are smart glasses. Imagine there are smart glasses which are helping warehouse workers fulfill orders with precision. Airline manufacturers assemble planes. Electrical workers make repairs, right? Imagine something like this happening so fast. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about, the use of technology. It is used in one of the most important areas and important sectors. So that being said, benefits, cost is reduced, quality is increased. Again, it's available 24/7. If you need a higher expendable size of it, it is possible. It can perform higher big tasks, right? And you don't have to really change the system or the process a lot of times. If it is working fine, it's working fine. Productivity is increased because a lot of people now can focus on more important things rather than working on a small process. Increased compliance, obviously by employing more and more technology, things become much more streamlined. So these kind of things again, and feedback. the insights and the analytics. Tell me, when you give an ad in Facebook, you can actually go to the dashboard and click and see the analytics of the advertisement, how many people saw it, the organic, the inorganic impressions, everything. So the analytics part is so easy. Now you can literally evaluate everything, legit everything. Even you put oxygen meter in your this finger, and you can actually, they can say, they'll tell you the level of your oxygen. So this is something which is really amazing, and it's continued to pick up. Now, another segment of this session is, I'm sure that everybody is understanding this. If you don't, please write, tell me what questions you have. Now, this is where the investment part comes in, right? How do we invest into these things, and which are the companies we should invest in? So, see, I'll introduce you something called a share basket. Share is basically companies, the company shares, right? But when I add the basket, which means that first of all, any sector like space exploration or renewable energy, some a sector which is very futuristic, on the likes of robotics and artificial intelligence also. Uh, Picking just one company from that sector and trying to invest into it, it opens to a lot of risk, because this is a disruptive technology, but it is emerging also, which means there will be a lot of ifs and buts, and there will be a lot of vulnerable companies out there. Like if you pick one, like for example, when cryptocurrencies came, there were a lot of companies which came up with the e-wallets, but not all companies survived when cryptos went down. Some of them just shut down, right? So basically, when a new sector emerges, you have to be very careful the company with which you pick. And it is mostly advised that when something like this comes in, you should always invest into something which is like a fund or like a basket. So your risk is spread into different companies. So tomorrow, if one company goes out of business in that sector, your entire investments do not get affected, because investments in financial markets subject to really, really heavy market risk, right? There's a lot of volatility. You need to be very careful. So that's why the share basket comes in. Now, these are some of these emerging themes like remote lifestyle or AI and robotics. Look right there. AI and robotics is there. And you can always, I can send you a link where you can read more about what kind of companies are in the automation and the robotics basket, because this is something which is available on our platform. And I'll take you to the actual platform and show you that how you can actually buy and sell these baskets and what has been the history like. Because these, so let me just show you the live platform here. Okay, Chrome tab here. So this is the live platform which I'm sharing with you. Let me see if everybody can see this. Okay, perfect. Now, I will go to share baskets and show you first that what a share basket. So what a share basket is, it's a basket of companies clubbed together, and you, when you are buying that basket, you are actually buying you buying a stock of bunch of companies which are involved into AI and robotics. So let's say, for example, when I search over here, robot automation and robotics baskets. So I added one here, right? Shows me the value, nominal value, $8,459. You can buy one unit if you want to. And look at this chart. So let's do some analysis over here. So what you see right now, just consider this as, just turn the whiteboard on, and yeah, great. So this is back from, yeah, just 2 years. If you see here, the trend down here, 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 and then see this. There has been this uptrend right here. It broke, came down, and then again it's going back to 9,000. Now, the whole point is 2 years ago, the same basket was around 5,000. In 2 years, it went all the way to 9,000. Now, this is just one basket. Now, when we talk about this particular basket, this basket is called Automation and Robotics Basket. Okay. And it is tracking the performance of 15 companies, right, which are in this basket. And again, 15 or 16, for example. And the reason is obvious. Automation of more and more areas of the economy is causing concerns not only among people, but also among states which are worried about declining tax revenue, right? And earlier it was a very imaginary concern, it was like a fiction, but now uh, machines are becoming finally the reality. So now, why you have to invest into robotics and automation? Uh, there will be a new mass market which will increase productivity. Uh, there will be some products which will help other companies to do more with less, right? When you achieve more with less, that's what you want to go for. And again, the tasks which are boring, which are repetitive, robots can do really fast. So that is something which is important, and which companies are a part of this particular basket. So there is, you can write it down if you want. Nvidia, Qualcomm, Autodesk, um, Teradyne, for example, Varian Medical, Zebra Technologies, Deere, Cadence Design, Intuitive Surgical, all these kind of companies, these are there. So there are some, so I've just shared some names. Somebody asked me what are the companies in this basket of, so that is really important to know. So these are some companies. I can definitely, let me send you this link here. This is on my website actually, so you can definitely go there and you can read all other baskets as well, not just one. Let me just send this link to all of you here. Oh, sorry, send to everybody. Okay, I hope I've shared a link. This is a tech and robotics eat basket link, which tells you what companies are into it. Okay. And as I said, NVIDIA, Intuitive Surgical, Qualcomm, Autodesk, Deere, Illumina, Microchip, all these companies are in this basket with different weightage. Now, this is just one. So here's the thing. It's not just one basket which only you can invest into. There are a lot of companies which are creating funds. Now I'm going to show you that. This. So check this out. When you go on your product library, and it's very easy, this is a live platform, so you can just search here. Uh, let's say you write, okay, you write robot here, you will see that there is a fund called Global X Robotics and Artificial Intelligence Fund. Then you will see there's a iShares Robotics and Artificial Intelligence. So there is a company called iShares, which has a fund. There is a company called Global X, which has a fund. There is a fund called Robo Global Robotics and Automation Index ETF. Then there is ARC. The ARC is one of the most emerging funds which have been coming up. So ARC, Autonomous Technology and Robotics. And look at this. This is right here. All these funds, they have been continued to move. They are volatile. And then again, all of these funds, they give you exposure to different companies. So okay, there's a question: is the CFD available on Century Financial? So this, what you're seeing right now, is a CFD. If you want a CFD, you can trade in a CFD. If you want the actual fund, we have a platform which can provide you that as well. So if you want a CFD, it's there. If you don't want a CFD, we can switch to a different platform, and you can get that as well. $8,400 is a costly affair. So that's the cost right now of the basket. So that's where you have to understand that at the end of the day, it's a basket. So your risk is still spread into different companies. Now, here's the thing: how would you buy it? Because just a question pointed out that 8,400 is expensive. Now, normally, if you're taking a CFD, you don't have to give 8,400 because this is traded on leverage. So when you go on product overview, you will see that it says that the margin is 20%, which means if you have to buy 1 unit of this robotics ETF, instead of giving 8,400, you have to just block 1,600, and you can still have 1 unit which is worth 8,004, because this is done on leverage. Is leverage risky? Yes, it is, if it is overused and abused, and there is a reason that why leverage is called as a double-edged sword. But then if you put $10,000 and buy one AI and robotics fund in using the margin or using leverage, it is relatively less riskier as compared to a high leveraged commodity or a currency. Okay. So again, as I said, that I'm open to a one-on-one discussion on this. What I'm explaining to you right now is for information purposes. I do not expect you to go ahead and buy it right away. Please understand first how this is done. We are here to give you a training and to explain you that how this is done. Only then you move forward with it. So for now, the live platform is just to show you that how it is. Like for example, look at this. Currently, last session I took, I used the same demo. I bought a Bitcoin at $62,112. If you see it right here, see, let's see if I can zoom this one. See, zooming in right now, it should be clear. Whiteboard. See, I bought one Bitcoin. Okay, let me show the price. Yeah, bought one Bitcoin at 62,112. Right now, the selling price is 62,342. So in trading accounts like this, you buy something and you keep it. Uh, Whatever the profit loss, day on day basis continues to move. Whenever you want to book a profit, you can. Whenever you want to book a loss, you can. But CFDs work like that. To buy one Bitcoin of 62,000, you just need $30,000 because the margin is 50%. So two times leverage provided on Bitcoins. But that being said, again, if you overuse your leverage, leverage is a very risky thing. Please first talk to your risk consultant, talk to us, and we explain you that how you do it in a less riskier way by putting stop losses and managing your risk. Okay. Leverage is not something which is given by just one company like us. Leverage is given by every company, but only those investors, they lose their complete amount because they go very aggressive and they overuse it, and they really don't understand. It is turned on by greed and fear. So there is a disciplined way to do this, and that's why you need to find someone who can at least explain you how this works. I'm available for one-on-one sessions on this, and we can definitely talk about this, right? So as I said, there are a lot of such funds available which you can always look into. I just showed you 3 or 4 funds along with the share basket, which you can definitely look into, and you can always check how, like, what is the current price and how you can actually invest into them. Right, just 1 second. Okay, back to my presentation. Here. So these are, and again, there are a lot of baskets. So normally I do one session on thematic investing, and we talk about these different themes, mega trends, right? So these mega trends are those areas like driverless cars, remote lifestyle, 5G technology, mobile payments, cybersecurity. So we take one-on-one mostly these topics. So today we were talking about AI and robotics, and that was the whole idea. So, guys, this is something which I wanted to talk about. And again, as I said, if just roughly to tell you, see, there are a lot of companies. Like, for example, if I were to take name Snowflake, I don't know how many of you have heard about Snowflake. Um, Let me also connect this again to the live platform. So, here. So I'll open the chart of all this also and make sure that you see this. See, talking about Snowflake right here. Again, these are just names. I'm not telling you straight away to just go and buy, but please do your talk to your consultants and or talk to us before you do that. I just zoomed in too much. Let me zoom out here. Right. See, Snowflake, one of the best, again, AI stocks to buy for this year and even ahead of that. because it's a cloud computing based data warehousing company. What it does is basically, if you're a user of Snowflake, the company will allow you to store and analyze data using cloud based software and hardware. They have announced they created a new platform recently, which was Financial Services Data Cloud, and this was for the financial services organization. Like imagine, financial services are one of the most important segment in every country. So they created a new platform only to assist financial services organization, so that they can use the data, they can enhance the use of the data for growing their businesses. um, Even in the second quarter, their earnings, which was so basically what they were expecting, was bad in the Wall Street, but they outperformed it. The company's revenue is almost 100% up from the previous quarter. So the price targets, whether any other analysts, also most of the analysts have raised their price targets on Snowflake. And again, uh, there are a lot of such companies in the same space, like on the likes of Alphabet, Apple, Twilio. But again, everybody hears the name Apple and Tesla, they probably will start hating them, because these are the names which you hear most of the time, right? But then that's why I'm telling you names which are different. Like just read a more about Snowflake and see. It's a $340 per share, and see it was around 200, not less than 5 months ago. Around May, it was around 200, and now it is around 340. So your question will always be, okay, should I enter now? That depends on understanding how much your risk appetite is. If you see right now my account value, it is above $100,000. Look at my profit in cryptocurrency, it is 476. The problem is, should I book profit now or should I wait? It depends on my risk appetite. If I'm ready to take a loss of $1,000, I would wait for a profit of 1,000. If I'm not ready to take a loss of $1,000, I would just book the profit right now. But the point I'm trying to make is that look at the sector, look at the tenure of your investment, how long you want to park your funds for, and what is the urgency of that money, and only then take a decision what you want to do. So I was just showing you some of these names and these companies which you can always look into. So this was Snowflake, and again, there are a lot of names. I'm not sure how many of you have heard about Docusign. Docusign was very helpful back in pandemic, because when we open trading accounts, we need a declaration form to be signed. And obviously, pandemic was a very busy month for us, because everybody wanted to invest since the markets came down. And if you see this, look at this. Uh, so if you see here, this is very interesting. Look at this. 2020. This was 2020 year, March. Look, price of Docusign. It was $80, right? From March till August, price just went up to 284. From 80 to 280, right here. Then found a support line here at $200 and bounced back again, resistance here. Currently again at 284. So the point is, a lot of investors, they do dollar cost averaging. They buy, if they want to buy, say, $50,000 worth, they will buy one now, second tranche when it comes down, third tranche when it comes down to the support level. That is called dollar cost averaging. But you have to make sure that you're not over leveraged. Again, when you sit with us, you talk to us, we'll explain you that, and you can do it yourself. Please, anyone who thinks that this is some rocket science, only fund managers can do that. No, the whole idea of doing this session is to make you empowered that this is right there in front of you. You can do that. It's very easy, right? All you need is a consultant, and it is available to you. So do not worry about how this is going to be done. So DocuSign was one of those companies. It's an American technology company, and any agreement which is to be signed. So you can basically, these companies, they manage electronic agreements, again using cloud. So they have this special software that allows the e-signature services. Like if you want to sign anything electronically on a different device, you can. And again, one of the best stocks to go into 2021. So Again, the most of the analysts, they have lifted their targets. If people expecting it to go to $320, outperform it. Their second quarter was really strong, so that is also one of those things, right? So that is, again, as I said, you can always look into these companies. Think about companies like Splunk also, for example. Now this was Docusign. Look at Splunk. So I'm going to take you 2017, sorry, 2020. Again, this was Splunk highest in. So you see how in 2020, most of these tech stocks, they've just rallied, right? So again, came down to 100, bounced back to 168. So with Splunk also, if you see, it's a web-based application software, and it's some kind of operational intelligence software. It analyzes, monitors real-time machine data. So again, the Bloomberg targets are way higher. A lot of analysts have outperformed it. The price targets are more high, at least above 177. So that is something which is good. Their earnings are coming well. And a lot of these tech companies, whether it is IBM, whether it is NVIDIA, uh, their analyst price targets are also lifted. And we have to stress upon what they are doing currently, right? So these were a few names which I want to discuss. There are, as I said, all you have to do is take a demo, okay? Take a demo from your RM and just search. So the moment you write robot, you will see all these funds, Global X Robotics Artificial Intelligence ETF. You click on it, you will see that, oh, this is a fund which is available. So somebody said that here, the basket price was too expensive, right? 8,400. So you can always look into this fund. This fund is costing $37 for one unit. Okay, if you don't want to take a leverage, it was in the pandemic, it was 15, bounced back, it is 37, it is all-time high. But then again, if you are taking it on a futuristic basis, then no price is right or wrong if you're looking for the next 3 or 4 years. So this Global X Robotics and Artificial Intelligence ETF, it is $38.50. So for those people who think that, okay, I don't want to, buy something really expensive, you can start investing into these kind of funds, something which can really help you out, right? So, second, yeah. So again, this is something which I wanted to talk about. If you have, okay, there are a few questions I'm taking here right now. If you have more questions, please write. Okay. Uh, can we get a demo account? Yes, you can. All you have to do is the person who has connected you to this session, I'm sure one of the relationship managers must have reached you out. So these are the people who will be able to give you the demo accounts. And definitely you can have a demo account and check. Um, can we have a personalized session? You can. And there is no cost attached to it. If you want to have a one-on-one session on Zoom or want to come to office and understand this, you can. So nothing to worry about. Okay. What time your offices are working? So Monday to Friday, basically we are working 24 hours. Not we are working 24 hours. Office is open 24 hours because um, markets are Monday to Friday on, and we have a dealing room service which is there 24 hours. The people work in shifts. So I think except Saturday, every day we are working, and timing is not a problem. How to open a live account? Live account opening is really easy. Just have to submit documents, and it will be done online, so nothing to worry about. But I would suggest you first come and talk to us, and we'll definitely give you a small training to understand how this works. And we are very open for meeting. It's a safe environment. We are making sure that all uh, safety standards are fulfilled. Or if you want to do a Zoom session, I'm available for a one-on-one Zoom session also, right? Please, if you like this session, if you didn't like this session, please review us on Google. We are Century Financial Consultancy. We continue to do these sessions to make people more and more aware about how markets work. And definitely, we continue to do more and more sessions in November also. So please be with us. Review us on Google Review once again. I really request you to do that. My name is Yogesh. Um, Question: what about China Tech Basket? Is this related to robotics and AI? Not exactly. See, China Tech Basket will have companies uh, which will be like, okay, let's say Alibaba, for example. So it may or may not have tech companies which are directly connected to robotics. Because robotics will have companies like DR or Intuitive Surgical. It will, like the robotics basket which I showed you, have companies like Intuitive Surgical, right? DRA, Nvidia. They don't have Amazons and Apples and Alphabets because Amazon, for example, cloud computing is a segment. It's not the main focus. When we say AI and robotics, we are kind of mainly focusing on those companies which core product is cloud computing and AI and robotics. So, but then you can go to the website and click on Chinese Tech Basket, and you will see that which companies are there. The link which I've shared right now, right? Before I leave, on behalf of my company, my family, and every friends and everyone, I would like to extend my word of thanks to those people who are working in medical industry, doctors, midwives, first responders, nurses. If you have your friends and family working there, if you are one of them, a big word of thanks from my side. You guys have risked your lives during the pandemic. It's not over yet. You risk your life every day for us, and I couldn't be more thankful. So the precious gift which we have is of life, and I'm really honored to be conducting this session in front of those people who who are connected to medical or healthcare industry, or who have friends and family who are connected to it. So please, once again, big word of thanks from my side, from my family, from my company to you. And if you have friends and family who are there, please extend my warm regards, and I hope that they remain in good health. So we'll meet once again next week. If you want to have one-on-one session, please go ahead and book that appointment with me, and we'll definitely sit to discuss more about this. My name is Yogesh. We'll meet you soon next week with a different topic at the same time. Have a great night ahead. Be safe.